Hi, my name is Seaman-DeGan, and I'm in the TED 632 class. And differentiated instruction, in my opinion, is just a strategy teachers need to actively be using in the classroom. It's something that can really benefit all of the students in the classroom, in the sense that they are learning in different ways because every student learns differently. And when you have 30 kids in your class, you have to be willing to change the way you instruct them to best benefit all of them, not just one or four. It needs to benefit all of them. So, the lesson that I am going to talk about is for a 10th grade world history class, and it'll be about political leaders of during World War II. Um, World War II is a very interesting time in all of history, but the students would definitely need to have some prior knowledge. So this lesson would probably come towards the end of the unit, not the very last um, lesson, but close to the last lesson, just because they need to know kind of the progression of the war and what has been going on. So the lesson would begin by the students in their journal, working on a question that would be up on the board about what they think makes a quality leader, or what makes a good leader successful. And then I would ask them to use their prior knowledge of leaders that they've already learned about in the course, or leaders that they see in the media today because it's relevant to them. So after they write some things down, and I'll later check that, they would then discuss this with their partners, their discussion partners. I like discussions. I think kids learn when they talk to each other about things. So they would first talk to their discussion partners about what they wrote, and after we got a few minutes to talk, they would then we would then just wrap it all up as a class and discuss what they talked about. And from there, we would transition into a short lesson about the political leaders of the Allied powers and the Axis powers, and maybe what they had in common and what were their differences. Um, the lesson portion of the lecture portion of the lesson would hopefully not take too long because you don't want to take away from the group activity we're going to do at the end. So I would try and keep it short and sweet and to the point, especially if they have prior knowledge of World War II. I would try and keep it very specific to what these leaders, like very individualized and very short, because they're going to be researching them more. So then, after we talked a little bit about these political leaders, the students would break off into their groups of four, and they would all have a different. They're gonna all be given a political leader, and then all four of them will have a different task. The first person's task would be the political leader's background. The next would be the political leader's military or political platform. Next would be their sphere of influence, and last would be their foreign policies. And then after they've broken down and understand what their tasks are for their political leader, after they research, because they have laptops in class, so they can do that in class. They're gonna make a social media profile for their political leader. Not a real one. They'll make it just on a piece of paper, and they'll have all of the information that you would want to see in a profile, along with four appropriate four appropriate tweets that they think that person would have tweeted. Appropriate is the key word. They just love their Twitter, so you never know what they're gonna do. They would work on that for the rest of the class. I'm used to 90-minute classes, so they would have plenty of time to do that in a 90-minute class, and they might need a little bit of time the next day, and then they would present them to the class. So they're really soaking in that knowledge with having to research, then talk about it with their group, and put it down onto a piece of paper, and then share with the rest of the class. So that is how I would make sure I differentiate my lesson. Yes, thank you.